It is National Lighthouse Day. So welcome, Jess, to National Lighthouse Day.
Thank you.
It is also National Raspberries and Cream Day.
Okay.
Just a little tidbit of information to get this
Fun
episode
fact.
started.
I like it.
How have you been?
I've been well. How have you been?
I've been okay. Lately, there's been a lot of Olympic stuff coming on my anything, like any social media.
Okay.
But mostly funny videos of people saying they're never going to the Olympics and then failing miserably at whatever sport they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love it. I can't stop watching. It's so funny, especially when they're divers, because it's like the chances of belly flops and stuff, it goes up.
Yeah.
And something about sound adds like another level of funniness to me, like slapstick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hearing a noise or a yell, that's so funny. Or cut off and there's no sound, that's so funny to me. I just saw a video, kind of separate but same idea, where this guy is at a dance and he does, like, he's trying to do the warp, so he jumps up and lands on the ground, but he doesn't do the warp, he just hits his fucking face on the ground, and everyone just stops dancing and is just staring at him, and it cracks me up. I love it. What's been going on with you?
Just working. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of if anything else has happened that's not work.
Mm-hmm.
And not much, really. I mean, besides us finally being reunited at work.
I know. It's been a while.
So nice to be back together.
I know. We get our lunches together.
I know, finally. The one time the universe aligns.
Seriously. Throw us a bone, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah. Now I just have to be harassed by your partner.
He's so funny. He cracks me up. Have you seen SLC Punk?
No, I haven't. What is that?
It's a movie. I think it came out in I don't know, maybe early 2000s, late 90s. But it's about the director wrote it about his experience growing up in Salt Lake City, which is why it's called SLC Punk.
Okay.
And it's about these punks, and two specifically, and then they're like a couple of their friends. But Matthew Lillard is like the main one. For those that don't know, that's Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, or William Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's, the new live action. And a bunch of other stuff. But he basically is the narrator, and it's like him going through all the people that he knows, how he knows them, whether they're punk or not, what the like social, like the way that it all works for them in their small town or whatever. And at the time, and I don't really know now, but you know, there's some dry states and stuff like that. But I guess at the time it wasn't necessarily dry, but the only beer you could get is like 3%. Versus the normal, I guess, 6% or 5%. Okay, yeah. And so they would have to go, like, out of state. It's because it's very Mormon populated, or, like, Mormon believed. And so, like, even if they don't have a majority Mormon population or people who practice, for some reason the Mormonism just, like, takes over. So they, like, that's a big reason why they rebel to begin with and want to be punks.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a reflective type movie where, like, towards the end of the movie, he brings up being a poser a lot throughout the movie. Like, what is a poser? You know, why is he labeling people posers? And then at the end, just to be able to label himself as a poser. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, we all conform in some type of way. That's just life. And, like, it's fun to, like, not have to give a shit about the future because you think there's no future to begin with. But there's a great quote, and I wish I could remember exactly what he says, but he says something along the lines of, like, but when it didn't end, I had to do something. So the world didn't end. You have to keep going, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta do something about it. But it's a really good movie, and I really want everyone to go watch it. It is very emotional, though, towards the end. It's very funny and, like, lighthearted. There's a lot of... It's older, so it's, like, cut it some slack for, like, some of the language being used and stuff. But at the end of the movie, you just, like, a little bit heartbroken. But it just was this... It's what, like, growing up is about, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's really good. Really, really good.
Nice. I'll have to add it to my list.
It has, like, that... What's that guy? Jason... Not... Is it Seagal or Siegel? I don't know which one is which. But the funny one that's in How I Met Your Mother. Okay. Whatever his name is, that's the one that's in it.
I don't know which one that is. But...
Yeah. But he's cool. He's cool. Good movie. I love him, actually. He's, like, one of my favorite, like, kind of comedic actors, I guess. Okay. Because... He does some, but then he does, like, serious movies. Like, he has one called, like, I think it's called The Tour, and it's, like, about this author. He plays the author, and it fucking was so good.
Nice, nice.
Have you watched any movies lately?
So I've been getting, like, TikTok clips of, what is it called? Let me look it up really quick. It's called Lucy Shimmers and the Prince of Peace, and I kept seeing clips on TikTok, and I've seen it before, like, throughout the years, and, like, it's, like, basically this, so she gets sick, she gets really sick, she gets, like, pneumonia, I think it was, and when she's in the hospital, she has to stay there for so long, it's, like, almost Christmas, and then there's this inmate, and he's sick, and he's, like, having kidney failure, and, like, he has to stay there overnight or whatever, and as she's there, she's very... it's like a very religion-based movie. Okay. God is mentioned.
It's like
a lot.
Savior type thing.
Yeah, just like God loves you is like basically the message of the movie. And so it's cute. The little girl can see dead people. In the beginning of the movie, she sees her grandpa, and she's like, "That's Grandpa right there." But then she gets sick, so I don't know if she can see him because she's close to death.
Oh.
Or if she could just see him anyway.
By the grace of God.
And, yeah, so then when he's around, she's stronger, and she can, like, move around the hospital, and, like, she sneaks around, and he helps, like...
Wait, when the inmate or the grandpa?
The grandpa.
Okay.
And he, like, she tries to sneak into the inmate's room, because they bump into each other in the hall, and she's like, "Oh, like, hi, I'm Lucy Shimmers." And she's, like, very well articulated for, like, a 5-year-old girl. And she's like, "Oh, why are you sick?" And this, and that. And then, like, so she decides she's gonna, like, sneak into his room, but it has a guard. And, like, then the grandpa's like, "Okay, you sneak in, and I'm gonna make the alarm go off." And he's a ghost. So the alarm goes off, and the guard gets up, and she slips into the room. And he's like, "What are you doing here? Like, you gotta get out of here, like, you know." And then she's like, "Oh, yeah, like, what are you doing? Why are you sick?" And he's looking at a picture of his family, him and his daughter and his wife. And then she was like, "Oh, why are you sad? Is your tummy feeling better?" And he's like, "It's not my tummy, it's my kidneys." And then she's like, "Oh, well, you know," she asked, like, in some point in the movie, she asked, like, "Oh, do I have kidneys, Mom or Dad, whoever?" And she's like, "I want to give him a kidney. So he can be okay."
She's a child.
And then she sneaks into, like, she goes back, sneaks in again, and she's like, "Hey, the other night I saw you looking at a picture. Who is it?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's my family. I haven't seen them in a long time. I did a lot of bad stuff, and I haven't talked to them in years." And she's like, "It's okay. They still love you. And don't forget, God loves you."
Okay.
And, like, you know, so she's like, "I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll read the Bible." And so, like, she'll sneak in, and they start reading the Bible or whatever. And then, surprise, the mom and daughter come and see him, and she's like, "Oh, see, I told you it would work, us praying." Like,
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then so it's cute. She, like, pops into, like, his room. There's another older lady that's super sick, and someone else. So she just, like, she's just, like,
touching these people's souls,
just, like,
type thing.
Yeah, just, like, spreading her love. Like, yeah, like, how are you?
The positivity.
Yes, yeah. So it's cute, and then, God, she's going back and forth, and she, like, sneaks out when her parents fall asleep, and the parents are rotating. And then basically towards the end, so the whole time she's drawing, and okay, forgot this premise in the beginning. The premise of the movie is, like, she's having this dream of a really sad man.
It's him.
And then she's like, the first time she sees him, she tells, like, her dad, like, "That's the sad man from my dreams."
Could you imagine how terrified you'd be as a parent, though?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Randomly.
And he was creeped out. And they do,
sure.
they do show, like, scenes of the dad, like, so what's the deal with this guy? Like,
right, because he's a prisoner and his daughter's getting close. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, I can move you guys. He's like, no, it's fine. And, like, she keeps telling her dad, like, that she's seeing grandpa and, like, he thinks she's crazy. Yeah. And then, so this whole time during the movie, she's, like, drawing a book. And then, like, the last night she sneaks out, or she finishes the book, gives it to him, and, like, she kind of gets better, gets worse, and nothing's working. They're working on different treatments or whatever. She keeps sneaking in and out. And then the last night after the book's in, she's like, hey, I want to go visit my friend. And, like, towards the end of the movie, the parents are a little more okay with them, like, talking and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, oh, Daddy, will you take me? And, like, so she goes and then leaves him the book. And then he starts reading the book, and it's like, once there was one time I was playing and I got really sick, blah, blah, blah. Then I had a dream about a sad man, and then I met him. It's this guy, and he's sad because he hasn't seen his family, and I want him to see see his family. And then, like, he keeps turning through the pages, and it's little drawings. And then towards the end, I can't remember the rest of the book, but towards the end it says, and you're my friend. Oh. I want you to have my kidney. And then he just starts sobbing. And so he gets out of the bed, and he's like, he has to sneak out past the guard, and he's heading over. And at that same time, she's dying in the other room. And then, like, she just can't breathe, and she's like, I can't breathe. And they're trying to revive her, and then they call her death right as, like, he walks into the room, and he's like, Lucy, and he's crying. And then
he gets his kidney.
Yeah, gets the kidney.
So by the grace of God, she also happened to be a match for him, and her child kidney is going to grow to his size.
That's, like, a
eventually.
thing. Like, no, like, it's a successful thing that can happen. Like, you could get a child's kidney, it'll still work. Well, I mean, there just has to be a blood match and all that stuff.
But I mean, if it's too small for your body, it might just collapse anyway. So that's the risk that you're taking. Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying in a realistic, not in a movie way. A child's fucking kidney is not going to be strong enough for a man-sized body.
Hold on.
But
let me Google it. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, now I'm curious. Go ahead. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think that I imagine it's like a heart thing. Like, I can't take a child's heart. Like, yeah, it's going to need time to grow inside my body. If I can survive that, then maybe. But a child's heart is not strong enough to pump blood through my body. It's a baby heart.
Maybe because he has the other one, he just needs one. I don't know.
Well, that's why I just take out one then, if he only needs one.
Well, she died. That's why she only got one. Or he only got one.
If he only... Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You can survive with only one. But if both of them failed or whatever, then he needs both of her fucking kidneys, or at least one of them. And it's a child kidney working on your whole body.
Only one's not working. I don't know.
Well, that's why you can survive with that one, can't you? I don't know how it works.
I don't know. What?
There's one of the ones you can have without.
I was gonna ask you.
I'm not no doctor. I don't know. I don't know the anatomy like that. I'm excited to find out. I'm gonna start taking children's kidneys.
Oh my god, that's why they go for so much on the black market.
What's it say?
It says one of the strategies is the use of pediatric donors aged up to 5 years whose kidneys can be transplanted into adult recipients, mainly en bloc. This involves retrieving the kidneys en bloc with an aorta and inferior vena cava and anastomosing them to the recipient's external iliac vessels.
That's a lot.
Duh.
But it says also, it says that studies have shown that pediatric kidneys can provide better creatinine clearance than adult kidneys, which I guess is the cleaning of.
Okay.
Because they're probably like fresh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It says, but you have to consider some factors. If they're 2 or younger, they have poorer results than having no kidney. Because they survive like less than 2 months. Uteral complications, they may be more likely to have uteral complications, but they don't negatively impact the graft survival. And sometimes you have to do it for multiple. You have to use multiple kidneys. That's interesting. You have to use multiple children kidneys for one person sometimes.
Probably like if it's not a match or something, or if it doesn't.
Well, if it's not a match, they should not be putting it in your body.
No, but like if it didn't work out for some reason, they're like, all right, well,
let's keep adding kidneys on there until it works.
Sure they swap them out like a battery.
Oh, this one's fucked. Take that one out. New kid. I'm just kidding. But that sounds like a really emotional. That's kind of where I thought it was going. She was
it was cute, and like everyone was happy. She like touched all the people in there.
Yeah,
and then at the end, it shows his name was Hector, I think. Back with his family, and every Christmas they read the story of Lucy because she died on Christmas.
Oh, that's sad AF.
Yeah, it was sad. They bring the little countdown
of her death.
No, like the Christmas countdown.
Oh, like for the days
to the hospital, and then the mom's like, "Yeah, hopefully you'll be home by Christmas."
Or depends. Home could be with God if that's how they feel. You know what I mean? So maybe she is home for Christmas.
I guess, but the mom didn't mean that.
Oh, I thought she'd be happy. They love him. No.
Well, that's why it's not like, I don't know. It's weird. Like she's mainly like, I don't know. It's not like too like religion. They just pray, and then like she's the one that just like says God loves you, but. They don't seem like they're super religious. They never go to like church.
Sure, she's dying. They can't really go to church.
No, they just have like, they don't seem like, I don't know. It doesn't
They're not
seem
bringing
like
it to
that
her.
Crazy religion.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just feel like it seems like the vibe is like God, with God all things are possible. And yeah, there are negative things that happen, like kid having cancer or kids dying. Which is like always a constant question that people have with religious people, where it's just like, well, if God exists, then why do kids get cancer? Why do people die all the time? But I feel like that was the vibe is like, through God, all things are possible. Stay positive. Even though these negative things are happening, it's for a reason bigger than you. Yeah. Because God loves you.
Which is just
You've accepted God, so he's going to give you grace.
Yeah. Which is like, you just replace that with any God or spirituality.
Which is how I felt about that Mother movie. Or whatever it's called.
The one that you were telling me about.
With the robot.
Okay, yeah.
It feels like it's like nothing directly religious, but it's like, but there are undertones.
Yeah,
where it's like, they didn't even got to say the Bible. They didn't even got to say God.
Yeah, and I almost forgot at the end when after she dies, he sees his daughter like run out of the room so he could finally see the ghost, and then he sees his dad too.
Wait, who?
The dad that was like, couldn't see the grandpa the whole time.
Oh.
And then they end up having another baby later, and then he's like, "Dad, who are you looking at?" And then he's like, "Your sister and your grandpa," and they're just standing there.
The Holy Ghost. That's crazy.
And I was like, oh, he got the eye. He believes.
Yeah.
He believes.
Yeah. That sounds emotional.
No, yeah, it's hella sad. It's cute, though. It's funny.
Yeah.
I definitely cried. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was sobbing. My partner was like rubbing my back because I was
You're like throwing up. You're like, ah!
It's like one of those, like, you have to, like, you're just silently sobbing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
When you're crying in the theater and you don't want anyone to know.
Yes, literally.
You're like, because no one else is crying but me.
Low-key, I feel like I'm the master at silent crying.
Dude, me too.
I could tears will be flowing, snot will be like dripping, and I'm just silent. There's no noise coming out at all. Definitely, I think the theater really helped with that.
The loud ass sound. I was gonna say, I guess the only time that we cried hella hard was when we were watching, what the heck's the movie called?
What, Past Lives?
No. Oh, that was so good.
Are you talking about The Farewell?
No, wait.
Is that what it's called, with Aquafina and she goes to Asia to go visit her family because somebody died? Do you don't remember that movie? We saw it together?
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, and her mom's like doing it or her grandma's doing that in the yard. That was a really good emotional movie.
We've seen some good movies.
I know. Which one are you talking about?
The freaking, the one we just saw that we saw in Sacramento.
The Creator?
Yes.
Okay, yes. The Creator.
Gosh.
Oh, so good. So good. It makes me emotional every time I watch that ending. And if you haven't seen that, y'all need to go see that movie ASAP. Because it was that was last year, right?
Yeah.
That was my movie of the year last year for me.
Good.
It was so, so good. So good. And I watched Five Nights at Freddy's last year, so that's saying something. Because it was really good.
Yeah.
And I'm not really into that sci-fi stuff, but it killed. It was so good. The acting was so good. The story, the fucking just everything. The music hit. It hits. Yes. It hits. Everything about it hit. And I wish that, I don't know if it just like didn't have enough like promotion.
No, yeah.
But people should have saw it. It was so good.
No, yeah, people should also see Past Lives. Such a good movie.
So fucking good. Like, and I honestly, the reason why we like end up seeing these types of movies and stuff is because we're both part of that like Cinemark. We just love movies. And so we're always like checking the apps and stuff. Yes. And then they always have like these random movies that you like didn't see a trailer for.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
That's how we saw Perfect Blue,
which is so cool. Yeah. I love that dude so much. I love Cinemark. I love movies. I was
gonna say, I really want to go see Trap now that it's out.
I want to go see it too. It looks so good, and I love that idea about like.
It's a trap for him.
Yeah, he's going there thinking that he's got a leg up on everybody because he's a killer and he's taking his daughter or whatever. But it was all a setup. The whole concert's a setup just to catch him. Like, that's a twist. Like, he's like a mouse trying to get out.
Yeah.
And then you wonder. I was like trying to guess. I haven't seen anything really else about the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to guess. I was like, I wonder if like his daughter is going to be the make or break. Either she's gonna like be the reason why he escapes or be the reason why he gets caught.
Yeah.
And that'll be crazy.
Yeah. I know. I think it's so funny too how it's like that one concession worker or that one worker. And
I'm not supposed to be saying.
Like, don't tell anyone. And I'm like, dude, if you would have not said that, maybe he's the reason.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's actually a cop and I was gonna say he's
the mole.
They're all cops. They all know.
They're all whispering it to everyone. So they're like, let's see who acts the craziest.
The band, his kid, and everybody else are all part of it.
Plot twist. Everyone's a murderer.
That's so funny. He's the only not murderer person. I'm trying to think. Well, speaking of movies and loving movies and stuff, Coraline's coming up on some 10th anniversary.
Nice.
Which is really, really cool. And I guess, like, I forget what city it is in or state, but they've, like, some artists got commissioned to, like, make sculptures of the cat from Coraline.
Nice.
Out of these different things, so they have, like, different styles or whatever, but they look super, super cool. Like, some of them are flower-oriented or whatever. I think there's only 3, but one of them is, like, flower-oriented. But it's pretty cool, and I love that little cat, and I've been wanting to watch Coraline anyway. Mm-hmm. But if you guys haven't seen Coraline, or you have seen Coraline, you want to celebrate the anniversary of it, they're having like 3D and probably not 3D versions of it like at Cinemark and probably other theaters to celebrate, which is, you know, it's cool because it's a really good movie. And I remember when it first came out, I did go watch it in 3D with my family, and the opening scene, the title scene or whatever, there's like she's sewing and like the needle goes through this button and it goes like right at the screen, and I remember fucking just being terrified. I don't even know when that movie came out, like 2009.
Yeah,
I was like 8 years old, or at least barely just turned 9, and it fucking scared me. I was like, whoa, that's maybe because I hadn't seen 3D movies that often.
Yeah, well, my elementary school teacher that loves spooky stuff read us the book in school.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh my god, they're gonna make it a movie, because like it was crazy like to think back to when I was a kid and like just trying to visually like think of what everything looks like, what everything like whatever, and then versus like the movie, which I think they did really well to match my expectations.
Okay, let's rewind on that, because we brought up this whole idea of like imagining things in your brain. Do you think it was easier for you as a kid to imagine things in your brain? Because like when you're reading a book and you're imagining what they look like, you are imagining things. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, but you've also said that you can't imagine things.
Okay, I don't see them. I don't visually see anything, but I imagine them.
That doesn't make sense. That's a paradox. How are you not imagining an imagination?
Well, that's why I just can't visually see it, but I think of it.
I don't get that.
It's like, okay.
What is thinking of something but not thinking of it? Because you're literally, it's a thing. It's a person or a
but
thing.
that's why, but I don't visually see it. So like, you tell me, think of a little boy walking his dog in the park on a summer night. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is what a boy looks like. This is a dog.
But you're seeing that in your head.
No, I see nothing.
What? This is so complicated. It's complicated to me. And it will always
and you
be.
know what? Growing up, when like they would do those like calming visual things, and they're like, "Close your eyes and
imagine
picture this,"
this.
and I was like, just always thinking so hard, like picturing like what it would look like, but I don't see anything.
When you were a kid and they had you draw something, what were you drawing?
What do you mean? Whatever I would think of.
But you're not seeing it before you draw it.
No. Maybe that's why I'm not very creatively advanced, because I can't think of stuff in my head.
But you are thinking of it. That's the part that trips me up. That's
why it's basically everything I think about or see is from reference.
But there's like absolutely nothing in your head.
No,
like like
black.
anything. Black.
Yes.
And you're just thinking, I know what a boy is.
Yeah.
I know what a dog is.
Star looks like. I know what the color blue looks like.
So when they were reading Coraline to you, how did you imagine things? Or like, what did you think?
I was like, okay, I would just think of a house and then think of a
So when
store.
You say you watched the movie and it was accurate to what you were thinking in your head,
it matched like what like the house I thought would look like.
Okay.
You know, just that. There's never a visual thing. I've never been able to see anything.
The author's just, I feel like maybe the author was just good at explaining what they pictured themselves.
Well, yeah. Well, anytime I read any book, I also don't see anything, but I can like guess what like the character might look like, or like think of what
based off the details in the book, or based off of your imagination.
Well, the details in the book, because that creates what you're thinking of.
So if you were reading a story, or somebody was reading a story to you, and they were like, there was this elf person, and that's what you listen to, elves? Or fairies. There's fairies people, they're fairy people or whatever. They're 6 foot tall, and his name's John. You wouldn't know what his face looks like because they didn't describe it?
No, yeah. And then, like, I think based on, like, how the story goes in my head, whatever I think would look
appealing or whatever.
Yeah, like whatever.
If
like if he's evil, maybe he looks like kind of shady
or something.
Or like,
okay, sure.
You know, just like stuff like that. Yeah,
because you know shady people, or you've seen shady characters in shows and stuff.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
It's never like a thing I see. It's just always a thought. Yeah.
I wonder if it would be beneficial, like if you could turn that on and off, you know what I mean? If you could just like, if it was a switch on in all of our brains to be like,
oh, okay,
I don't want to be able to imagine it all, or I do want to have like high definition imagination in my head, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like some things like I really get under my own skin, like hearing a story or something like that about something gross, because then I imagine it so viscerally.
Yeah. So like, okay, so when like I tell you a story, you see what I'm telling you. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, which like that, I feel like that's why.
And that's like the common thing that everyone can see it, because I think it's like a super small percentage of people that have aphantasia.
Well, I feel like it's a scale, right? So it's like some people have it way severe, which is like absolutely nothing. And then some people have it like black and white. Some people have outlines. Some people have general ideas, but not moving pictures. And some people have such high definition and like moving pictures and stuff like that in their own head.
Yeah. It says aphantasia is when your brain doesn't form or use mental images as part of your thinking or imaginations. Experts don't define aphantasia as a medical condition, disorder, or disability. Instead, it's a characteristic, much like which hand you naturally write with.
You can't help that, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like because I was talking to somebody else about it, and it was like, we read a book. I was reading a book, and it's like the room, and the person's like describing every single thing, and it's like a movie in my head. Yeah. I wish I could project that.
Okay. I'm going to pause this, and we're going to take this aphantasia test.
Okay.
Okay, so I just finished mine, and
Mm-hmm.
it says, you can't even visualize your family's faces. You may have aphantasia. No matter how hard you try, you cannot visualize the imagery in your head. Whether it's a person, place, or object, your mind relies on the words instead.
So that's a good point they brought up. Like you can't, so you don't even know when you're not looking at your sister the details in her face.
I mean, I know what they are, but I can't see them.
Damn.
Yes, yes. Okay, let me give this to you so you can take
If
it.
you got attacked, you would not be able to describe what they were wearing or what they looked like.
No, yeah, I would, because I would remember.
But you wouldn't have the details because that's like.
What do you mean? He was in a gray sweater. He was 6 feet tall. He had blue eyes, nice hair.
I feel like in a moment of being attacked, your brain is like so fast that if you don't, I feel like if you don't have that ability to pull up an image in your head, it would be muddy, I feel like.
But no, I don't know. Well, that's how I remember. Like, I'll remember license plates, car color, like stuff like that. Like, maybe that's why my memory's better because I need to rely on it more than like,
I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I'm like, I could definitely describe, like, if someone attacked me.
You would know that they had a mole on their face. And
Yeah, I remember stuff like that. I remember stuff like that so
But you don't know
accurately.
what they look like in your head.
I know what they look like. I just can't recreate their image in my head.
But if they pulled it up like a sketch artist drew it, you'd be like, yeah, that's them.
Yeah, like let's say someone drew you and you attacked me. And I'm like, she's short. She has short hair, piercings, looks like a devil.
Crazy woman.
Has piercing here, here, and here. And then they're like, okay, is this her? I'm like, that's her. Like, I remember what they look like. I know what people
It's still
look
so
like.
hard for me to fathom. Okay, let me take this test.
Okay. Okay, the results are in for Destiny's. It says, you have strong visual imaging capacities.
Okay.
You have an exceptionally strong mind's eye. Using only your imagination, you can create strong, detailed images of people, places, and objects. Your creativity is unmatched.
No surprise. Yeah, I got that. I was like, yeah, makes sense. But I mean, I guess that's like the whole conversation we've been having.
Yes,
that one of us can definitely do it,
We just
and the other one
needed to
can't.
prove to each other.
And the other one can't. That's so funny.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I think that definition kind of helped you grasp it a little better.
Yeah. Because I guess like the part that like trips me up is that because for me words also include images, but for you it's just words.
Yeah.
And for some people I guess it's just images or it's just words or whatever. But for me it's like I guess it's both. Words can have images, which is so interesting.
I was gonna ask. Okay, do you meditate?
No, but I used to.
Okay.
I feel like I want to get back into it.
When you used to meditate, what would you see?
Well, my whole thing about meditation, I guess like the point that I was trying to get to was not to visualize things because I'm always visualizing things.
Okay.
So for me, meditation would be to get to nothingness.
Okay. So, and would you get to that?
No, it was really hard.
Maybe because you're such a visual
Yeah, I was
person.
gonna say. Well, also, I mean, it is hard to meditate in general. I feel like I just wasn't practiced enough.
Yeah.
But I think with practice, things like that are possible, and the reverse, I'm sure. But.
Okay. So when I meditate, instead of seeing black, well, it'll start black, and then sometimes I'll see colors of light.
I was literally gonna say colors. I was literally gonna say at the most, it's like it's colors. That's what helps you get into that meditative state.
Yeah, and it's a very like faint color, but like
it's not like fireworks.
Once I'm like deep in meditation, I see this light go like up through my face like a bright white light, and then it all turns white when I'm like at peak meditation. And I see no colors. It's just a huge white light.
Because like when I close my eyes and I don't imagine anything, all I see is black and white.
White?
Yeah, black and white. Like it's like
interesting.
I don't know how to explain, but like so it's black, and then at the bottom it's like white fading into the black, and sometimes there's like white, like kind of, it's more fluid than like,
Okay.
but it's like more lines, like kind of, I
Like
don't know, like
static?
if you, I was gonna say that, but I was gonna say more like if you had a tank of black water and you
Okay.
dropped little white drops in
Okay,
it, and sometimes
interesting.
the little like whoosh, whoosh.
Okay.
Like sometimes I see that right when I close my eyes, like first, but that's because of light interacting. I feel like with my eyes while they're open, and then you close
Okay.
them, and then you're. It's like when you get flashed in the eyes, and then you close your eyes and you see that dot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like happens to your eyes. Like but I'm not a fucking whatever they're called, optician or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Optical doctor. I don't know. But anyway, let us know if you can visualize things in your mind, or if it's also words for you, or if it's a combination of both, and how detailed. Do you see color? Do you see it in black and white? Do you see just outlines of it? The questions on the test are really interesting because like some of them were like, imagine a friend or a family member that you see often, and then it asks you, did you imagine their face and their expression and their whole body, or just their head and like their face? Which is a really good question, because when I had first, and that's what made, honestly, for me, it so complicated, because the way that my imagination works is I will start with limited idea and then let it build. So when it asked me to imagine somebody I know really well, actually I imagined my brother. And I imagined just his face and his hair and his ears and everything like that, all the details around his head. But then I like looked at the answers and I was like, but I can imagine his whole body. I just didn't think to do that because it was just thinking, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Which is so interesting. But just let us know, because I'm interested in what more people, what is it called? And how do you say it?
Aphantasia.
Aphantasia. If you have that, let us know. Maybe you guys could have an exclusive club. Maybe we'll create an Aphantasia sticker or something for all the Aphantasia listeners.
Oh my god, it's like, maybe we could do like a drawing and it's like me and you thinking, and it'll be thought bubbles, and mine will just be
empty. Oh, yeah. It's like words. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, so I googled it because I was curious about the light thing, and it says seeing white light during meditation ? That's because of your crown chakra, which is located at the top of your head. This chakra is connected to the source energy and is associated with our intuitions. When blocked, it can lead to anxiety, disassociation, or headaches. So yeah, I guess my crown chakra is on fleek or something.
That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Also, let us know if you've done that, if you've gotten into a deep enough meditative state to see your crown chakra also. Or if Jess is just better than all of you. So I looked up some the same thing, kind of.
Okay.
I wanted to see what other people were thinking. And I do not trust Cora, just so everyone knows, but this answer comes from Cora, so take it with a grain of salt. But this person said, because the question is it normal to see white light while meditating? They said, it seems to be a quirk of the brain that when the level of your awareness is decreasing, it produces a white light. Some epileptics also experience the phenomenon just prior to the onset of a fit. A bright white light is often a component of near-death experience, leading those who experience it to interpret it as a sight of heaven. That makes sense. That's why people are always like, oh, the light. So
every time I meditate, I just go to heaven.
You're so close to
like right there.
Literally nothing, like no thoughts at all, that you're just fucking boom. It's like so open. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. It says, it gives those who experience it a brief glimpse of the feeling of peace of mind. Experienced meditators can access, especially as it is often accompanied by euphoria, which is like death. Yeah. You're like little, what is it? Petite mort, little deaths. Like an orgasm. That's French for orgasm. I learned that from Chucky.
Yes.
Bride of Chucky. If anyone didn't know.
I bet a lot of people didn't know.
Did you know?
Yeah.
When I said it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's because we're spooky gals.
I love that movie. Bride of Chucky's so...
How
do you not see something?
Explain.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Google that. That's actually really helpful.
Aphantasia to someone who doesn't have it. Yes. Okay. Inside his head, there are no pictures. Things don't appear in his mind's eye, as they do for many people. How our brains process, use, and access information varies enormously. And those with aphantasia experience what is sometimes called image-free thinking.
Image-free thinking. Continue.
That was it.
Well, that doesn't describe anything.
I know, that was just the first thing I didn't read at all.
Okay.
Let's see.
It says that people with aphantasia may also have trouble with autobiographical memory and recognizing faces and navigating spaces, which I don't feel like you have issues doing. Like, you know your areas pretty well.
Yeah.
Because you can visualize and memorize where you're at. And same with faces, right?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Okay, so this Reddit says, these are just comments because how do you explain aphantasia to someone? And then this is the first comment. You know when you have a word on the tip of your tongue, you know exactly what you're trying to say but can't quite get it out. It's like that, but it happens whenever you try to picture anything. I don't know if that's a good explanation, though.
Like, you know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's almost there. It's on the cusp of
it's hard explaining it even to myself, but it's like walking through a dark room I'm familiar with. Knowing where things are at equals knowing what they look like, yet I can't see them because it's dark. Okay, that makes more sense.
That makes sense. That actually made way more sense. Okay. Wow. Wow. We fucking we did it. We hit it. We figured it all out. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, does that click for you?
That does, because I can imagine, like, when I'm actually in a room and it's like pitch black.
Yeah,
but
like
I
when you're at home and you wake up and you
don't
want to turn on. Yes,
but I'm not seeing it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes!
Okay.
We're gonna be able to cut out so much dead space.
Breakthrough. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, should I screenshot that in case you forget?
Yeah, put that. Also, we'll post it.
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
Yes, yeah.
That's a great way to describe it.
Oh my gosh! Thank God.
That's wild. Wow.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm blessed or cursed to have such a
vivid imagination.
Yeah, especially because if it's going to be like movies all the time, you know, like movements and stuff. That's why when it says like about daydreaming and stuff like that, and people are like, dude, because people catch me spacing out all the time. And they're like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like, honestly, because you snapped me out of it. It's like, I don't know. But I know that I was in the whole thing. Like, I was doing a whole thing before you came over. Which is so crazy. That's really wild. I'm really curious because I obviously it is a spectrum. Some people are way more severe and some people aren't. Like when it comes to not having physical visual memories or whatever. I'm really curious to like the people that we personally know, what their levels are like.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a poll.
That'd be cool.
A poll with the post.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe link the test.
Oh, that'd be cool too. Yeah, so you guys can take it and find out what level you're at.
Yes. Okay. I'm recalling some of my week. It was my little sister's 10th birthday on Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Woo.
Woo. And on Monday, I won a healing package from Healing One, which is a super awesome healing center here in Reno. If you guys didn't know, they have float deprivation tanks. They have massage. They have infrared saunas. They have oxygen bars. They have healings.
Nice.
And offer like many events and stuff. So you guys should definitely check them out. The owner's a great guy. I've known him for years. And I entered this contest and won a energy healing, which was cool. I've never done one before. I've done like sound healing and like shorter energy healing sessions, and it was interesting to go in and have a whole hour of healing.
What is it?
So I laid on a bed and I laid face up, and then she just kind of talked to me, and then she was like feeling around my body, like, just, like, I guess absorbing the energy, like, throughout. And she moved, like, through my whole body, like, a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, she was, like, I guess she was just talking to me and, like, doing whatever. And, like, my eyes were closed. I was just taking deep breaths with her. And, like, we were just kind of talking through stuff. And she was, like, asking me questions. And she says, like, that kind of helps her figure out what, like, energy to move around and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I was, like, in a pretty, like, meditative state because I was just, like, I don't know if you know, because you said you haven't meditated that much, but, like, when you get to, like, that very, like, meditative area where you're, like, breathing, like, so soft, like, you almost feel like you're dead because you're, like, barely using any air. You're just, like,
Sure.
so, and, then, I don't know, she was going around, and then towards the end, she used tuning forks, which were super interesting, and they work through your chakras.
Yeah.
And she tells you which each one is, and then
They
there's,
do
like,
tones, right?
ones.
The forks.
Yeah, and that was cool. I had never heard it, and they do it, like, on your, I think she did it on my left side first, and then on the right.
Nice.
And then you just hear, like, the frequency, like, zoom, zoom,
That's
zoom,
why
zoom.
I think binaural beats are so fucking cool. Just beats in general, and just like that tones and stuff.
Yeah.
They do so much for your body, which is why the sound healing and stuff like that is so positive for people.
Yeah.
But continue.
No, yeah, and that's how she ended it, just, like, going through the tuning forks. And then after, she gave me feedback on, like, areas of my body, like, this was blocked, this was not active at all, this was this. And then she told me what to do to start using them again, or, like, activating them. And then, like, she's like, how do you feel? And, like, immediately you feel, like, so light, like, just, like, no bad energy, no feelings. You just kind of feel, like, refreshed,
Love.
like, super, I don't know, just, like, super neutral, just super
Nice.
nothing. Like,
Yeah.
it just feels good. I'm like,
fresh start.
and
restart.
then I've noticed that, like, anytime I do get any healing or, like, meditate, I notice that everything looks
brighter.
brighter. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, brighter, but also bigger, I guess. And then, like, I think about that sometimes. I reflect on that, and I think it's like sometimes you just dissociate so much, you're never in your body, like. And I'm a very heady person. I'm always thinking and daydreaming and just, like, overthinking. And so sometimes, like, I don't even realize, like, oh, like, I'm in this space, like, this, you know, whatever. And I feel, like, way more present and connected. But yeah, it was interesting. It was cool. I liked it. I've been feeling really good this past week since that.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome. That sounds like a really nice time.
Yeah, and then they let me know I had a float credit that was going to expire, and, like, it expires this weekend, and I, like, made an appointment, but I don't really want to go, so maybe you'll go.
Yeah, it'll be my first time doing it, so.
And it's a 90-minute credit, and, like, they have hours or 90 minutes, but I think the hour ones are almost too short. Like, I feel like hour ones are for maybe more experienced floaters because you can get into that
faster
headspace faster.
Sure. Yeah.
Versus, like, and depending on the room, I'll have to check what room it is. They have 3 different rooms, different takes, like an OG tank, a bigger one. Some have lights, some have this and that. And, like, they start off with, like, music, and then they tune out, and then, like, you know, it takes a while to get to that state, to whatever, you know. But yeah.
Did the first time you ever floated, did you find it hard to, like, kind of, or because you already have experience in trying to meditate, it was a little bit easier for you? Because I'm, like, what I'm thinking of is, like, I'm such also a heady person, but I just feel like because it's going to be my first time, and it's, like, I can hear about it, but, like, I have to experience it.
Yeah.
I feel like once I'm in there, I might be so focused on being in there that I won't be able to.
So I think you should go in there with no expectations. I think
I'm not going to do that. That's impossible. That's asking me an impossible thing. But that's why I started it off that way, is because, like, I can be described, like, what it's going to be like, but I do have to go through the the actual doing it. So I do have expectations because I don't know what I'm going to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know what it's like yet.
You're just going to float. You're just gonna float.
I know, but I don't know that because I haven't been there yet. Okay, do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Like I do. Can you know turn your what it is?
Turn on your imagination powers.
Well, what I'm imagining is a fucking darkness, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna be so hyper aware that I'm not aware of my body.
Yeah,
and it's black. Like that is what I'm gonna be.
Are you gonna have your eyes open? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like if it's going to be black, what does it matter if your eyes are open or not? Yeah. So I have no idea. Unless I don't know. Because the light ones, you can turn them off?
Yes.
Okay. Or like, what's the point of the lights?
Yeah, just so you can see when you get in there. And then there's a button somewhere. I haven't been in a while. It's like on the wall. Yeah. And you can turn it on and off.
And then the other thing I had to wanted to ask you is, have you ever floated and then had to pee really bad? Like, do you just hop out?
Yeah, they have restrooms there. Okay. So, ideally go pee before.
Yeah, but how do you know? Like, if I go pee before, but then the water being body temperature, what if that makes me have to pee again?
Well, you could just get out. They have robes and stuff. And then...
Wait, you supposed to do it naked?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's, so you get there, you're in a locked room. So you go in there, it's a locked room. There's a shower. You shower before... if you have any cuts or scrapes, they have a little Vaseline because it'll
burn the salt. Yeah.
And you just go in there. They have like a little pool noodle if you need to keep your head up. They have earplugs so water doesn't get in your ear. They're very accommodating. Cool. And then when you get out, they have the shower with shampoo, conditioner.
That's nice.
Body wash. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jess.
No, yeah. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah. What if I don't come out?
You will. And like,
what if they open the pod and I'm not there?
Then this will be a solo podcast.
Dang, you have to tell everybody.
And it'll turn into a what happened to Des podcast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you'll be one of those podcasts dedicated to finding me.
Yeah. But like, it's locked. They have a key if they need to go in there. I've gone in there and passed out.
Okay.
And like, I'm out. And like one time it's happened, I think they've had to wake me up like twice.
That's funny.
And they're like,
they knock on the pod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. First they like, because so what they do.
They don't want you to be dead.
Towards the end of it, they start music.
So to kind of get you.
Yeah. So you'll like hear the music and know like, and I think it's like 10, 15 minutes when the music goes on. They'll tell you, like, I'm gone in a few months, but, and then whatever, like, and so the one time I did fall asleep, they turned on the cleaner, so the motor woke me up because it starts going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then
you start getting sucked down the drain.
The owner was like, Jess, okay, God, if we knew you weren't dead because we heard you breathing.
Oh my god.
Sorry to wake you up. And I'm like, oh no, you're fine.
That's funny.
Best sleep ever.
How do they? So they change it out every new person, I assume.
Yeah, so it goes through a cleaning thing, and then they go in there and physically clean it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. Love.
And it's you're floating in a bunch of magnesium basically. Magnesium
and not salt. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Milk of mag. That's crazy. That's cool though. That's very cool. I love stuff like that. I love holistic care.
Yeah. And then every time I get out, it feels like you've had a whole little massage on your body, like a deeper massage on your body.
Because you're not like not putting any pressure probably on any parts of your body. So it's probably like a looser. I mean, that's what I imagine anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, find out.
Yeah.
And I'll give my play-by-play.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. Do you have plans coming up that you're going to be doing?
I do our friend's hair this weekend.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I think I want to cut my bangs because I was telling you, I feel like I look like an egghead. My bangs are too like long and they like, what are they called? Curtain? Like, curtain I don't know. Bangs? They like wrap around my face and they just make me look way too oval. I feel like I look like a little egg. I don't know.
Your head doesn't give me oval. I feel like you have a good circular face.
Oh, cool. Beach ball?
Face. Yeah.
Beach ball, not egg. Got you.
I feel like oval looks scarier. Like,
well, that's why I think it looks oval because it goes like You guys can't see, but I'm obviously tracing my face.
Yeah, but your hair's not going like this.
Because my here.
It's just going like this. Yeah. Okay. I think it's just one of those perception things.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I was like, you look fine.
Always blows my mind that we can't perceive ourselves how other people perceive us.
I know, crazy.
That blows my mind.
I'll never know what I look like.
Exactly.
And it drives me insane.
Exactly.
I'm like, what are you looking at?
Dude. And then I hate it because, you know, I don't know. You have really good skin. I was going to say, sometimes, like, I get told, like, oh, your skin's so good. And I'm like,
dude, what? I was going to say, I feel like your skin's really good. I have not been liking my skin.
No, mine's not good. And that's the thing, because, like, I feel like when it's you, like, you can see everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Every little blemish, every little skin difference. But for other people, it's just, like, a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's, like, other people's eyes on other people has, like, a little blurring effect or something.
Wait, I think, did I talk about it on the podcast? But, like, that one, like, not like a study, but like this one, like, I guess, experiment they did where they have like a group of people sit in a room with a group of people, and then they call you in, like, let's say you and me are sitting next to each other. Okay. And then they call me in, and there's this artist, and he says, he's not looking at you, right? He's like, describe yourself to him. Okay. And then he paints you. You don't see it.
Yeah.
And then I go back out, then they take you in, and they're just like, hey, Des, describe what you look like. And you tell him, and they're like, okay, also, can you describe the girl that was sitting next to you? And like, they also ask that other person, like, oh, what describe the person sitting next to you? And then at the end, they go in, and they show them, like, this is the version you described of yourself, and it's like a super ugly,
or like super like, hyper focused on things. Yeah,
just like
blemishes.
People's self reflections when they told the artist were like super like negative, versus like they're like, oh, look at this painting, and they're like, oh my god, that's so pretty, and then like that's who the person sitting next to you described you as. Wow. And then it's like,
you have to send that to me. No, you didn't.
I'll have to find it.
But yeah, you have to send it to me because that's really interesting.
I know, it's cute. I was like, oh,
that's super, super interesting.
And then like at the end they're like, oh, I guess I shouldn't be so hard on myself, or, you know, stuff like that. Like,
It makes me think about other things we could do that with, like not just like people's faces, but events of things, or like items. It's like have two different people describe the same thing and see what differences you get out of it. Which is like, you know, obviously, like, I don't know, my brain is just spiraling because I'm like, oh, well, also when it comes to investigations, that's why it's so important to talk to so many people who might have known something, anything, because any rendition could give you what you need. Yeah. That's really crazy. And yeah, what people perceive to be important or sticking out more than other people, you know? Like for other people, like other people, the first thing they notice is teeth on people. Some people it's eyes. Some people it's ears.
When you look at someone, what are you first drawn to?
That's actually incredibly hard. Yeah, because I feel like, because now that I'm thinking about it, it's really hard. I feel like I just have to like do it and then be like, oh, that's what I noticed.
This week, let's
try to be conscious. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll come back. Yeah, definitely. I'm excited about that. That's interesting. What about you listeners? What do you guys notice first on people? Is it their teeth? Is it their eyes? Is it their hair? Is it their eyebrows? Because I have a little poke brows, and I sometimes wonder if it's changed people's perception of me. You know, they say like hair color does too. Okay. Like you get treated differently depending on certain things, because that's what people perceive as really interesting.
Very interesting. Oh, were you gonna show me something?
Oh, I don't know.
Were we gonna talk about
my likes? Okay, so I saw this. You play Sims, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because I feel like a lot of our listeners, or at least I know that some of them like Sims as well, and I've gone through my phases of being on Sims and then not, and then on Sims, and they have the pet expansion, right? And just like Sims people, your pets can also die in Sims, and this video is this woman sim, and she's sleeping, and then next to on the floor is a dog bed and a tiny little dog, and it's like it has a notification at the top that the Grim Reaper is coming for the little dog or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then it said, and then like the next clip is the sim crying over the urn that's there instead. And then the little ghost dog comes to visit and say bye, and then hangs out with her on the couch. Nice. I was like, Sims is too. It made me a little emotional, honestly. And then I went to the comments, and the top comment was saying that after their dog had died a few years ago, they went into The Sims and created a dog that looked like their dog and made it immortal so it could never die. And now every year on their dog's birthday, they go on Sims and celebrate their birthday with them. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That is so bittersweet. It's like, and it's like really cool because like The Sims is a fun game or whatever, and it's fun to like with all the mods and stuff that people do, but it's also
I've never
cool.
even done any of those.
I know,
because
people may do some crazy ones.
Because I recently got into Sims, like, you know.
Yeah. And it's just cool that Sims can also offer that, an emotional, like, healing thing, which is really cool.
Okay, so I looked up the video. Mm-hmm. It's from 11 years ago, and I'm not sure. It's called Dove Real Beauty Sketches. It's 6 minutes and 36 seconds long. But yeah.
Send it to me, yeah.
Yeah, I will send it to you right now.
Perfect.
We could link it too.
We'll link it. That's really interesting. That's super, super interesting. It makes me want to experiment on people, which sounds nuts, but also very like honest. If I just want to be honest, like I really wish there was some things that we could just like force people to undertake these tests. Like nothing crazy, but like something like this where it's like just have this awareness that like your perception is not.
No, yeah, I was just thinking about like this one like Big Bang Theory episode or like something like super like cool's coming in and they're like, wow, it's crazy. Don't you just want to like set up an experiment? Oh, no. I lied. It's freaking Buffy.
Oh.
And like it's one of her later seasons. She's dating this guy who used to be like a military trapped demons and stuff. And they're like, wow, that's crazy because Xander gets split into two. Mm-hmm. His good like personalities and then his bad or not bad, but like not the best side of him.
Sure.
And he's like, wow, it's crazy. He's like, don't you just want to put them in a room and do experiments on them? And then everyone's just like,
yeah,
and it's just like, and he's like, oh, and they're like, yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I like, it's so crazy because I've said that before in like to people, but like I don't ever and mean it in like some crazy way, but honestly, we would know so much more about humans if we could do stuff like that. If we could just force people, 100 of you have to do this test because 100 of you fit the the requirements in order for us to get exact what we need,
Yeah.
That would be crazy. But then there's like sad experiments that have happened, like those twins or whatever, the fraternal or they were all twins, right? They're all like, what is it? Fraternal is exact or no?
I don't know off of the top
these guys
of
are
my
exact
head.
twins. The three dudes.
Identical?
Oh, I guess they're identical. I don't fucking know. The identical triplets or whatever, the ones that got separated at birth. And then they came together. There was like a documentary about it. But then at the end of the documentary, they basically get revealed to them that they were never separated at birth. It was all on purpose. It was a test to see if it was nature over nurture. To see if all three of them, would end up being the same just because they're all from the same mother and father, and they all came out at the exact same time, and they all have the exact same traits. But they all went to different schools, different parts of this country, raised by different types of people. And it was like, so is it nature or nurture? Yeah. And I don't know really what they learned from that, because I think like it's still an ongoing topic too. Is it nature or nurture? But I heard a crazy quote. I want to look it up real quick about it, because it was like, it's the most, I don't know, most accurate, I feel.
Okay. The
quote is, nature loads the gun, nurture pulls the trigger. Okay. And that makes the most sense to my brain, and just like based off of the stuff that we know, I guess, and we can't really experiment on people. So it's like, that's pretty much all we know so far. But that makes sense. I mean, like, because I think, kids aren't born with empathy. They have to be taught empathy. So there's that aspect of it. But also some kids who come from really great homes, like we've talked about in the past, are just fucking psychopaths. And they just, like, that's just who they are. They were born that way. That's just a fucking disconnect in their brain. So both of those things go hand in hand, because maybe there's certain things that trigger the reactions versus, keeping it domicile in their body. But I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But I just think it's cool to think about experiments with people that we've done. Yeah. We go too far back and it gets really weird.
Yeah. Lobotomies.
I'm talking,
I was
yeah,
gonna
even
say
like
that
the Nazi
acid-
people,
yeah.
like all those scientists, like were just completely experimenting on Jewish people, and it was like
Yeah.
horrific things, like things that they didn't need to be doing. They were just
Yeah.
doing it to torture people.
Yeah.
But I just want to do cool ones. Nice
Just
ones.
friendly,
Yeah.
cruelty-free ones.
Yeah, cruelty-free ones. That'd
Yeah.
be cool. Like we've talked about it before, that ad felt like an experiment kind of like asking a bunch of adult women and boys, what is it like to throw like a girl, run like a girl?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But then you ask a little girl and it's like her mind and her perception of what that is hasn't been changed
Yeah, it's
yet.
super strong.
Yeah.
And,
I'm trying your hardest is
Yeah.
basically what it is, because
Mhm.
you're not any different from someone else.
Yeah.
Ugh, so good.
So do you like that experiment where like they go into the room and then they beep and then like they stand up and then like they walk in? Have you seen that one?
I don't think so.
It's just like a clip. And so the thing is like you go in, you sit down, and then I think it beeps every minute or whatever. And every time it beeps, everyone in the room who's an actor or whatever stands up, and it's to see if the person will start standing.
Because I see everybody else doing it. Ooh,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And for the most part, I think everyone does. Too.
Yeah, because it's like herd mentality. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, what are we all? I don't want to be the odd one out
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Or like, what if it does something wrong if I sit down? That's really interesting. Well, do you know the one where it's like a fake hand?
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah.
the real hand? Yeah. With the
and how
divider.
you feel the pain.
The tickle and then the stab or
They're
whatever.
like, "Ah!"
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Because your mind is so strong.
and they know that it's not their hands.
Yeah, but the mind is so powerful. If
Mhm.
if it's convinced even for a second, you got you, you know.
Yeah.
That's really cool. The brain is so cool.
Definitely.
That's why I always say I want to be like a neuroscientist, but I'm not going to go do all that. But it'd be cool too. It'd be cool to
maybe just
see.
pick it up as a hobby.
Sure. Sure.
I'm serious.
Girl, nobody has money to be picking up neuroscience as a hobby.
I would say you could probably get it off of like one of the free
Off
online.
Wish.
Shut up. I would say one of those free online colleges.
Oh yeah, I was doing the. I think it was Harvard. I think I was doing Harvard classes on
Nice.
like psycho stuff, but I just psychotherapy stuff. But I
Yeah.
just like it's hard, honestly, when you're not paying for it. There's no drive to keep doing it.
Ain't that
Honestly,
the truth?
yeah, yeah. Before we end, I guess I wanted to bring up something because I know you know, and I've brought it up before, but Nathan Fielder, who I love so much, he did Nathan For You, he did The Rehearsal, and he's been on, I don't know, like he did one podcast, I think it's the A24 podcast, with the girl from Euphoria, and it was such a random couple, but it was such a good episode of a podcast, so I suggest that. But he's just a funny satirical comedian, and one of his shows, the Nathan For You, the idea of the show is that he goes to failing businesses and he tries to come up with an idea that'll help them save their business.
Okay.
One of the episodes was a frozen yogurt shop, and it was just like a subplot. Like there's sometimes multiple businesses in one episode because they happen so fast or whatever. But this one yogurt shop, they say that nobody's coming in. Like nobody wants to eat this frozen yogurt. So he comes up with the genius idea to do poop flavored yogurt, because he said, can you imagine it? People will be so shocked. Nobody's ever done poop flavored yogurt. And he said, yeah, because that's disgusting. Nobody wants to do poop flavor. Like nobody's going to eat that. And he said, trust me, people are going to be interested. Right. So he starts off by getting the flavor in. So he has to go to a distributor and like tell them he wants poo flavor, like as a vial. You know, like they add extracts and stuff to the yogurt. That's what makes it taste. So that's what he goes and gets a poo flavor, but it's still like obviously it has to be edible and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they just mix a bunch of flavors to get this flavor. He brings it back to the guy. He says, we'll put it in this like chocolate colored yogurt or whatever, and then it'll have this taste. And so they put it in and is booming the first whatever. Like people were like actually interested. They're trying the poo flavor.
That's crazy.
I don't know if I would, but if you just like went to a yogurt shop and they happen to have poo, I guess your curiosity might get the better of you.
Yeah.
I don't know for me, but whatever. So people were interested in it. They're getting samples or they're getting half of it with their yogurt, whatever it is. The guy who owns the yogurt shop, keep in mind, this show happened so fucking long ago, and I cannot imagine that he records the show and then airs it the next week. You know, it's probably not that easy, especially with so many businesses. The yogurt shop guy is suing Nathan Fielder because he says he's the reason why his business failed.
Dang.
Even though the show's premise is already failing businesses asking him for help and him trying to help. He, years later, is now being like, you're the reason why. And now Nathan Fielder, I think, has to pay over, like, I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands of dollars or if it was $1 million. But I doubt it was $1 million. But it was like some hundreds of thousands of dollars because his business failed afterwards. But, I mean, to me, it's like you watch it and then you just see, like, the boom in business when the poo flavor comes. If you couldn't carry that, because the guy says, we're probably not going to continue this. And then Nathan's like, okay, bye. Like, he just leaves. Like, that's this whole thing. It's like, okay, well, I helped you, bye. And if you couldn't stay open, because I guess they closed a week after that.
Yeah.
If you can't stay open past a week, you were never going to last. Like, it wasn't him. And it's crazy that the judges, because I'm pretty sure it's over, like, have settled that he has to pay this guy money. His business fucking sucked. It's his fault.
Yeah.
And that was wild. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because that was in my, like, news of things I cared about, I guess. But yeah, is there anything else you want to add today?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. So then I guess I'll just end it with a quote.
Sounds good.
I'm going to end it with a quote from Igor, the movie we talked about last time.
Yes.
Igor says, as somebody I loved once said, it's better to be a good nobody than an evil somebody.
Ooh, slay.
Hey. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you, Igor. And thank you all for listening to another episode of Speaking Into the Abyss with Jess and Des. Have a good night. Bye.